Hi everyone, Mature Simmer here again. So I'm going to make another attempt at getting this rush hour run done. Flick that off. I'm going to turn my key on. Get that. And then we're going to turn off or isolate that safety system so that it can operate. And then we'll be heading off in a few minutes. So my hope is I know enough now to get done, but again, it came down to a appropriate signal, and obviously a signal can catch me at any point. So some of that involves just paying a little more attention to where the signals are and making sure that I don't overrun them. I mean, I know I was getting close to the end. I was happily moving along. At this point, I've certainly learned things each time. I'm able to use the keys to open the doors. Was able to stop the incessant buzzing in our ears for many seconds that I was fumbling around in the last episode. Looks like the train ahead of us has moved along pretty well. Signal's gone from red to yellow to green. So they're now a few blocks up at least. Probably just likely 2 blocks up. Alright, so we got our timeliness bonus. We should be heading off. Again, 20 miles an hour is our initial ability to proceed, so I just want to be careful as I take off, because while speeding won't automatically cancel things, I lose points that I really prefer not to lose. So let me lower that down, but yet get myself close to speed. Alright. Again, we're gaining speed even when we're just coasting, so just important to kind of keep toggling that a bit, but pretty soon we'll be at the point where we can speed up a good amount here. Alright, there we go. I think it was a little bit earlier than that, but I didn't notice it. So just want to be careful, because we've got a 45, oops, hit my brake way too hard, but we've got a 45-minute limit, or 45 mile an hour limit. I cannot speak clearly today, so just be careful. But definitely moving along here, as we'd like to stay on or ahead of schedule as much as possible. I'm definitely feeling a little more confident here, which might be my demise if I'm not careful, because I'm definitely towing the line of certain things. Forgot to hit the button there. Almost got myself to a point where I'm going to have... Did I hit... What did I do? Did I hit emergency or something? Well, see, there you go. And that's the reason we don't do that. I think I didn't respond fast enough. I'm going to restart the scenario. Got myself reset here. Actually took off, being a little too cocky in my movements, and missed triggering the button, I think, fast enough to ignore the automatic braking, and then ended up having the train engage the brakes automatically, which on a run that's as tight as this is as good as failing, because I think my timeliness would have been off every time. So I hadn't even gotten to the first stop yet, was running really close to speed, and just had some problems. So I say all that because I may or may not leave that in. I probably will, and we'll just allow people to skip over it just since I've got it recorded. I might as well expose my idiocy in how I'm able to run these trains or not run them for all to see. We're getting ready to take off soon. But once again, as I've noted in some of the descriptions of the earlier videos, this is certainly one of the more challenging simulations I've ever played. Microsoft Flight Simulator, which I tried years and years and years ago, was also one of those that was extremely frustrating and challenging. This one's not on par with that. I feel I can be successful at this, where with Microsoft Flight Simulator it seemed like I'd almost need to learn how to be a pilot before I could actually play the game, and that was really not my intent, so I didn't stick with that long enough to ever really get to the point where I could play it appropriately. But my hope is that I will do that with this game, because it is growing on me, just the whole process of how this operates and so forth. It's kind of relatively relaxing. It's certainly not as relaxing as Farming Simulator, but kind of once you're going along, it's you're operating throttles and you're operating a few other things here and there, so it's not as if... See, and that's the thing that kind of messes me up, is it gives me those signals really close to the point where I'm also having to toggle. I think part of the issue is I'm keeping my finger on like the exit door button, which is ridiculous because I don't need those at the platform. And so I think I'm also subconsciously being more deliberate to make sure I don't press the wrong button. But I don't think I could open the doors mistakenly, even if I wanted to. I think there's safeguards against that. But it'd be just my luck there aren't, and people would, have a problem and not make it. So, alright. So now we're below 35, coming up on the platform as well, so just gotta be careful for our first stop. And we should be good in a little bit here. Alright, go ahead and start slowing down. It's probably too much, so let me ease it in a bit more, and then we'll crank it up in a bit, or maybe not. Maybe this will actually work the way I need it to. Because, yeah, I'm almost not on the platform here. There we go. Let me do that. Alright. And yes, so 8:18 is when we want to get here, so we're definitely, I think, doing pretty well. I think we got here 4 seconds after, I think is what the ETA is. So I got further than I got on my first attempt. So, or my first attempt this morning, not my first attempt overall, because that I basically got to the end of the line before I overran the signal and caused myself an issue. If you haven't watched the other two runs, that was the failure of the first one. I went past a red signal right at the end of the run out before I could even turn around and start returning. On my second attempt, I did better. I was returning, but then ran a signal on the way back, probably 3 or 4 minutes out from the end. So, needless to say, just a little bit irritating, to say the least. So, I think this is always a challenge here of not exceeding the speed. before I get fully into the 60-mile-an-hour range, so I won't go too fast here because that little bit isn't going to help much. Alright, and now we can get up to 60. Got a little over a mile to our second stop this morning. So hopefully all our passengers are enjoying themselves. I like that sign, "Are you certain of your stopping pattern?" I'm pretty certain, but sometimes I wonder. So yeah, once we get above 45 or 50, luckily the train does appear to take a long time to continue to climb in speed. Alright, that's where I need to be careful, because again, I was kind of hitting that and not exactly ready to hit the button, and freaked out a little bit when that occurred. Alright, so we're going to put on a little bit of the brake here. Alright, I think we can ease off and let ourselves coast in a little clearer on this run. Because once again, I think as long as when we're getting close to the platform, we slow down to below 30. I think that usually does pretty well for getting us where we need to go. And almost hitting brake 2 seems almost too much. So again, am I certain of my stopping pattern? Not really. Because I'm clearly struggling a bit here. But I think we're going to be good. And again, I think I'm on time, but I definitely lost a little bit of time. Because I was just 3 or 4 seconds ahead, behind my ETA, per se, of being there at the top of the minute. So I think I was running like right in the center before, so I do have to just be careful. It's 21, 23, but yeah. So you can see our ETA is climbing up, and now we're taking off. So I am very quickly going to hit my accelerator, because you can see it's at least slowing down that loss of time. At least, but we are still losing some time, and even though the platform is close, we just really can't afford to lose too much time. And then the challenge is, I think we're catching the train in front of us, because when we left the first time we were green, and now we're always yellow at signals. So if I recall, I think this is about what I did, and then kind of started to slow this down here with the intent of hopefully pulling in at a leisurely pace. And I don't know if this is a shorter platform or it just hasn't gone ahead and changed yet. I think we're going to be okay. We're going to hit the brakes a little harder here, because we don't want to obviously go off the platform, because that would be bad. But I think as long as the yellow cars are good, we're good. So we've got what? 1, 2 more, well, 3 more, I think, because then I think we turn around and head back. Yeah, express all the way to the end. So we go all the way to Birmingham, but there's, yeah, a pretty good space there. So 8:25, and then a little further spread after that. So we'll once again get moving. And if I speed this up as quick as I can, I'm doing everything I can. I was at 33, I started out at 28. We're creeping back up to 33 again. And this one's pretty close, so we're already half a mile, less than half a mile, so I want to be careful, but I want to be timely. And yeah, I've read some of the other scenarios. I'm not going to lie, I'm a little worried about them because it sounds like there's a lot more challenge in some of the other ones with the signals hitting and so forth. So yeah, this time I'm going to go ahead. I don't need to go to break 3, but I definitely need to go to break 2. And now we'll let it kind of crawl a bit until we get the larger platform picture. And then I think, again, we can stop now. So I've been going to the end, but I don't know that I really need to be doing that. And so now we've got till 8:33 for our next stop at Duddeston. I'm trying to remember, I think we get a pop-up message at this point, just before we start. But maybe it's after Duddeston. No, right now direct to Duddeston. Because I think we basically passed some other stations. So I think it's just letting us know that, you know, we've got to head along basically as an express at this point. And again, 8:33 is our target, so we're in the center. We've got a green signal, so no reason to not go as quick as possible, but we do have some speed changes here, which is what messed me up coming into the other station. So I will have to pay attention and hopefully not have a problem, but so far we're perfect in the time bonuses we can get. So we've gotten our timeliness bonus. Our score's up to 625 over here. Gotta be careful of my speed, although again, once it gets up to this level, it does go up at a slower pace, as we said. It does appear, I think, we're going uphill a bit, so that probably helps. So here we go. We can stay kind of on an even keel here, but just being aware we've got to be down to 50 in a bit. Alright, now we're starting to go downhill. And that was what threw me off the first time, because sometimes that trigger point, like, appears again, and... Alright, let me just get myself below, just to be sure, so that I don't have a problem. We're green. We're good. But yeah, obviously we're just going by this platform. Just apply the brake a bit, just to be sure. We're going to be down to 40 in less than a mile, and then we've got that track switch. And then part of the problem was we had some other track switches in the one direction, but all the numbers were on top of each other, so I ended up getting some speeding penalties at one point. So here's where I think we're going to start. We're going to get beeped right away again before the next curve. And that messed me up a bit. Maybe since... probably just a little later. I was going to say since I was going slower, maybe it's not going to warn me, but then it did. So I think I just was anticipating it a little bit earlier since I knew it was coming. Alright, so we can coast through here. Although I do need to be careful because now I'm hitting this signal again. This is where I kind of botched things up before. Alright, now we can... What happened? This is such a difficult game. Alright, well, is it gonna let me go? So this is the part I don't know. Like, how do I get myself out of the point where it won't let me proceed? Because, yeah, that's the emergency brake. But I've clearly got a problem again. There we go. Alright, well, let's see if we somehow end up able to do this. But if I'm late at the next station, I'm obviously just going to let it go. But I'm thinking I, again, didn't trigger in time for my button, and there just seems to be like a mandatory wait in that case when you do that. I mean, I still, in theory, have an ETA that'll get me there on time. So, we'll see. Alright, so we're going 20, as we need to be here. But yeah, we're definitely going to be pushing the arrival time. But this is not our platform, so we need to continue and see. At this point the time is ticking up. Like, I don't know, because this was where I got stuck before, where I had run through. Alright. Just gotta be careful, because I can only go 30 here. I don't know if somehow I pull this off with all of that. I'm gonna be amazed. I will say that. Because, yeah, we can only go 30 in this section for quite a bit. And then we get to speed up a little bit, but the question is really, is that going to be enough, or is it going to be too late? Right now, I think I'm okay. Flustered. I'll tell you that. I am flustered. Okay, signal's yellow. I was like, why is it not speeding up? I don't know what happened there. But whatever happened there, it really put me in danger of not making this. Because, yeah, we've got to slow down. Guess I'll just do that, because I don't want to go too fast. Still yellow. I cannot afford another emergency brake, that's for sure. Alright, so we're down to 60. Oh boy. Except I need to be slowed down here. This is not going to make people too happy. I'm having to hit this pretty hard. I think I'll be okay. But goodness gracious, did I let that one go. But this is our platform here. Somehow we made it. So, alright. So at this point, and then we go for 6 minutes. So we've got till 8:39 to get to the last platform. Let's see if we can do it. But yeah, I'm beginning to wonder if I can do this while recording, because I don't know. I mean, I think it's just hard. I don't think it's necessarily the recording, but alright. So 8:30, 8:34. So we're actually ahead of schedule right now, as long as I don't lose too much time. Because obviously it is creeping up. Gotta watch the signals, because this is how I caused myself a problem before, because I got too excited about my pace and then suddenly had a problem. So, and again, I can only go 50 here, so. And then I have to slow very quickly to 30. So, let me, again, not overdo it. Be ready for the buzzer. I think I'm going uphill, so it's not, but then we quickly go downhill, so I do need to be careful. Because then I need to be down to 20. There we go. And then I can be at 30 later. But this is... Alright, but then I switch right back to 20, so if I recall, I think... Ah, shoot. Downhill a little bit too much, so lost 4 points there, but in the grand scheme of things, that's okay. Because, yeah, this isn't very far, but because it's so slow, we've got a good amount of time here to continue, and we'll be able to speed up a bit here, and perhaps do a little better. So let me move myself forward a bit here. Again, not being rip-roariously excited, because we've got to go right back to 30 and then back to 20 again. So at this point, we'll be good. Gonna need to slow down quickly here. Come on. Alright, it didn't give us any penalty, amazingly, because I think technically I was in that amount before, or in the zone before I got below 21 or 22, because usually if you're about a mile over, it seems that's kind of the trigger point. And again, I have to be at 10 shortly, so I may just up this a bit. I think at this point, there we go. Still going downhill, so it does drift a bit. Now it's telling me 30, but I'm not going to fall for that, because I think I did that last time. And then suddenly I had a problem, but we are going to be leveling out soon. I think as we get near the platform, we start kind of moving at that appropriate pace. So, that might have been a bit too much, because we also don't want to not get to the platform on time. And at this point, yeah, now we're leveled out. So once we get here, we then want to turn around and get on the other end of the train, and then head back and see if we can make it. So I'm definitely playing with the time a bit, because I think if I get in a bit early, like, I'll get that extra time on the back end, which is not a bad thing. So here we go. Alright, so it's supposed to be at 8:39, and we got here at 8:38. Okay, so then this is where we were before. We've got a 20-minute run back, but I need to switch over to this end. Again, flip my switch. Why is it not letting me turn my key? Oh, because it's on, I guess. Alright, turn on my lights. that safety system. And then get ready to move when the conductor finally lets us go. But I think we're here for 3 or 4 more minutes, because we've got a long time there. I guess the stop's only 2 minutes, so might be just before 8:41. Again, we'll see if it lets us go early, if it basically lets us go at 8:40:38, or if it's going to hold us. I'm imagining it's going to hold us to kind of get us back on track. Alright, so hopefully soon. And then we begin our express run back to the other end. But again, I think we're on a different line. So, should release us shortly. And then we'll go ahead. There we go. So once again, we can only go 10 miles an hour, so not any need for any additional excitement here, because we're going to be right up there before we know it. But then we'll shortly be able to get to 30, and all will be well. Well, that was not the plan. I was trying to speed up and then kind of go here, because yeah, right there I think we start an incline in a moment, where if I don't get on the gas, I'm going to start slowing down anyway. So maybe not quite yet. Oops. So lost another 4. Again, trying to be timely. I cannot position this throttle where it needs to go. Alright, so now we can go to 30, and then we'll be able to go to 40, and then here you can see where they're on top of each other, where it's a bit confusing. But we'll do everything we can. Again, our target is 8:59, so right now we're about a minute ahead. This doesn't keep us speeding up, and at this point we can go 40, so I'm going to go ahead, move that along. We do have a yellow signal, so we're going to have to keep that in mind. And once again, I think we need to be down to 15 or something at that exchange, which is the problem I had. So I want to be careful here. Signal is yellow. Alright, but yes, see, it's 15, and then we go over to the edge, so that was where I had made a mistake before. And I know we didn't come down this way next to the bridge, so that's kind of my piece of where I think we've got, we're going in a different direction than we were before. And then once we get through this incline, we get to go to 15. So we'll put it on power 1. It seems to be climbing slowly since we're going uphill a bit. And then hopefully we'll be at 30 before we know it. This signal's green. The next signal's a 1/4 mile away. And then again, we've got kind of a double view there. So just want to keep an eye out for the signal. make sure that we don't have a problem. It looks like it's green. And I think I caught that before because there isn't a marker for that 30. Okay. So let's see what we can do here. Keeping an eye out for signals. Alright, so I think we can go now. Just being a little cautious. And then, we'll see where we're at. So I believe that's my signal. It's green. I'll be able to go 70 for a bit. Again, we have a signal up ahead. It was a while before we had the signal problem we did, although there is one in between here that I think got us before. So let me, yeah, because now we're to yellow. Alright, I don't need to slow down that much, but this probably doesn't hurt, given that, again, I'm in the yellow space. So gaining a bit of time here might not be a bad thing. 45, and then we're down to 20 again. So it's still telling us 8:58:09. So I think this might have been where we were running into things, because like you can't see the signal around the turn is the problem. So you're coming up on it and then you're suddenly like, well, I can't not just go 20, I also can't go, okay, so it's yellow. So I think we're okay, because I think this was one where we had to wait before. I assume, again, unless a train's going in the wrong direction, this won't suddenly turn red on me. So we're switching over here. And the problem is somewhere on this stretch, then, is where we hit the point that we hit the signal. But I just don't know that I'm going to remember exactly where. Alright, I think we're okay to proceed. Again, trying to keep an eye out. It's green. So that's a good sign. Because obviously then that means we've got some more clearance between us and the train ahead. Don't want to go too fast. I'm not up to 45 yet. Now I am. Signal again. About a quarter of a mile ahead in a bit. So just want to keep an eye out. Maybe coast in case I have to hit the brake, because yeah, I can't see this signal. So this is not a good thing. Alright, it's green. So again, and our time is still saying at 58:09. So I'm doing okay from that regard. 5 miles out. I think we were down to like less than 2 miles before we had the problem, so I think I'm a ways away, because this was where I was starting to speculate if this is the same part of the line where I get to 60 and did I have, was I on this part? See, now we're back to yellow, and that's where I think I had a problem at some point, was then suddenly we were in red realm. And I'm sure it was after I was moving along at 60, because I know I was debating hitting the emergency brake, but that's too much. The thing I think I need to figure out is I think there's something in cab that tells me, like lets me see the signal up ahead, what it is, before I actually have to see it. Because see, I think that's me, and I think it's red. So I am going to slow down, because this may have been it. Alright, now it's yellow. So I'm okay, but that obviously means I'm getting really close to having a problem. This may have been the signal. I kind of vaguely remember this, but there's probably a lot of viaducts and sweeping right-hand turns, too, that I'm going to hit. So, it may not have been that one. And this one, again, is, now a quarter mile up. I know it wasn't sweeping to the left, but this would be very unfortunate if suddenly, and it is red. So we're going to try this again. Alright, I've got to be careful because I'm clearly running very close to the edge here. I mean, it changed, but so I basically got to start paying attention and maybe slowing down at a quarter of a mile out from the signal. I don't know. But again, then I'm worried I'm going to have a time problem. But my time is not changing, so maybe I need to stop worrying and I just need to be careful. So let me go like 50 instead of going 60. And that should, in theory, again, be giving me an opportunity. I cannot see the signal. And sure enough, it's red. Alright. I didn't get stuck to nothing, but so maybe since I was really going slow, maybe I'll get a little bit of a clearance here. Again, 0.67 miles, so it looks like, a half a mile, a third of a mile between signals. I don't remember these signals being a problem because I'm clearly not seeing them till very late. Alright, I can see that one's red. So let me slow down again. I'll just kind of coast. Alright, it turned yellow. Again, this was not the signal yet, but I think it's right around here. Because, yeah, this is on a platform. So right now it's telling me I'm on 858.09. So I think I'm okay. And then we're about half a mile away. See, but that red is like the opposite side. But yes, I think this was the signal. Because I think I came around here and then suddenly had a problem. And yes, I see it red up there, and there's the bridge. So I'm pretty sure this was it. And I think, yes, I had hit that button, and then suddenly, before I knew it, I was on top of the signal and couldn't slow down. So we'll kind of coast in here. Because, yeah, they're having to slow down, but this was absolutely where I had botched it before. So we'll do that, and then now I feel comfortable that I can stop if I need to. So let's see how that all goes. We'll give ourselves a break 1. Hopefully it'll change. There we go. Alright. So now we're 2 miles. The question is, how far can we go? But we slow down to 35 before we have another signal. So that'll be good. You know, normally, as we've talked, I get into a station at 30 and then stop before the end of the station, so I should be okay. My time has not changed yet. Alright, so there we go. We'll coast in here. I'm sure we're going to get a warning signal shortly. Because usually before you get into a station, I think I've noticed that. So that it kind of knows that I'm paying attention. Alright, 35, and yes, I cannot see the signal. So, definitely gonna wanna be careful here. It's yellow. So, we're good. Go 35, so we'll go a little faster, because then it's gonna speed us up to 45, because yeah, now we've crept up 5 seconds, so we've lost 5 seconds on our trip here. So we've got this tunnel, then we're going to have a light once we've changed to 45. And yes, we are creeping up on our time. So I definitely would like to move along, but we are just a mile away, so hopefully between the two it'll all work. So I won't go all the way up to 4, but I'll put myself on 3. And hopefully we're not going to see a red signal here. Because yes, at this point again, this would be a very difficult stop. I'm not seeing this signal at all. Alright, it's green, thank goodness. There's got to be a way to see these in cab. I'm going to have to figure that out. Alright, so we get to 55. Now that's the end of the line, so if I somehow blow through that, I'm really going to have a problem, is basically what that's telling me. Alright, it's yellow, but I think this is the last signal before I pull in. So, looks like we're going to change tracks one last time before we get to the platform. So I just need to get myself down to speed there. I think I'm doing alright. Kind of estimating my view there. Yep. So there we go. We're below 20. Now we hit 20. Now as expected, we switch. I think we then switch again, because it looks like another 55 and 20. And I think we're going to be a bit early, which is terrific. But I'm hoping nothing happens in the last few moments, and then I will be ready to say I did this. And finally, you know, I hate doing the third time's the charm thing, but that's kind of what we're showing up as here. But that green, I think I need to get that last car on, so that's why I'm kind of putzing along here. But I think at this point we're good. So I think we arrived 9 seconds early. So I guess we won't know until, what does it say? There we go, nice work. Another driver will be in charge of the next service. Leave the doors locked until he joins the train. Meanwhile, you can have a rest while you wait for your next shift. Yay! So I scored 986. Looks like I unlocked 2 achievements. So I could have done a little bit better, but I think usually if you exceed this 750, that's the best you can get. So let's see, if I go to career, oh, I now have a star. I don't just have a check mark like I do on that. So I guess that means I did well. All right, so in this case, third time was the charm. We've got a really long scenario as the next one again, so I'll get to it when I can. But yeah, because here I didn't get any score, so at some point I need to redo that to try to do better. You know, in this one, traffic's starting to build up. There's track maintenance. Not sure what TSRs are, so I probably need to familiarize myself with that. So it's those kind of things that have kind of scared me. It does look like things are challenging. So it's long, almost an hour and a half again like the first one, but we're going to give it a go at some point. And when we do, I will see you next time.